Finding an activity to do with your child that challenges and pushes you both to be better, that builds character, and is something you can learn together is a fantastic thing.
At Okami Kai Martial Arts and Fitness, we thrive on positive feedback from our students, so you can just imagine how happy we were to hear from Jessica and her daughters as they gave their thoughts about our classes.
Classes are always fun, and I always learn something new.
Fun and learning, all while getting out and getting active. That's one of our goals, and according to these amazing ladies, we're doing our job and doing it well.
I see the excitement and the joy that they have to go to class to learn and improve.
Contact us today to find out what everyone is talking about. Our family can't wait to meet your family.
Okami Kai is my favorite place to be.
Okami Kai Martial Arts and Fitness. Check us out at okamikai.com.
Everything is my favorite thing to do in class.
Welcome to the Okami Kai Chronicles, a podcast devoted to not only the students at Okami Kai Martial Arts and Fitness, but also to the fans of our school and maybe even other martial artists who are curious about what's happening in our small area of the martial arts world. I'm Scott Campsell, and I'm the chief instructor at Okami Kai, which is located in Uxbridge, Ontario, Canada. Today, we're stepping into a place I like to call the Museum of Your Worst Moments. It's a space filled with failures. Not the kind on Instagram, no medals, no filters. This museum is full of the messy, sweaty, cringy stuff. And honestly, that's where the gold is. There's actually a real place in Sweden called the Museum of Failure. It's filled with real products and inventions that bombed, like Colgate beef lasagna, a board game about Donald Trump's business career, even the Apple Newton. Why would anyone keep that stuff on display? Because it's not about making fun of failure, it's about honoring the effort it took to try. So today we're going to talk about your own personal Museum of Failure. We all have one. And if we use it right, it's where we become unstoppable. Let's get into it. Let's talk about this real Museum of Failure in Sweden. It's basically a gallery of some of the world's most embarrassing product flops. But here's what makes it amazing. It celebrates failure because all of these companies dared to innovate. They tried something new. Now think about your own training. What would be in your personal Museum of Failure? First time you tried a kata and forgot the second half? The time you got submitted 3 times in a BJJ round? How about the fitness challenge you quit after 3 days? All of that belongs in your museum. And it's nothing to be ashamed of, but it's proof that you're doing the hard stuff. You're learning, you're pushing your boundaries, because no one builds a legacy by playing it safe. We have talked about in the past having an Okami Kai Hall of Fame, because after 25 years, there are several students who have made an impact. But truthfully, after I learned about this Museum of Failure, I'm thinking this might be the actual thing that we could possibly do. And no, we wouldn't have names, of course, but we could include stories about students who have worn their gi pants backwards or their jacket inside out. How many times during a lineup has somebody messed up the bow or messed up calling the bow? How many techniques have we screwed up over the years? Kata. We'd have a whole area for kata. But any student who's made a mistake, the ones that came back and that didn't quit, they've improved tenfold. And some of those mistakes were hilarious. Some of them were frustrating. A lot of them were character building. But every time they messed up, every time I've messed up, we all grow. So let's talk science for a second. Your brain, well, it hates failure. And it's actually wired to avoid discomfort, embarrassment, and risk. Because that's how the primal version of us survived. Don't fall and you don't get eaten. But that wiring holds us back. We're not in caveman times anymore. We're martial artists. We choose hard things on purpose now. We get choked. We get punched. We sweat through drills. And that's where real confidence comes from. And a couple episodes ago, I was talking about Oliver Burkeman, and I'm starting to get attached to him as a writer. And there's a book called The Antidote. And in that book, he talks about this exact thing, how trying to avoid failure makes us more anxious. But embracing it can actually give us freedom. So let me say this loud and clear. Your next failure is coming. And that's awesome. You're going to forget a move. You're going to lose your balance. Outside of the dojo, you might end up skipping a class, eat a bunch of junk food on a clean eating week. And that's totally cool. And we advise you to move on. because training is about resilience. It's about coming back after that failure and not pretending it never happened. Here's a quick mindset reset you can use when you fail. Number 1, notice it. Don't ignore it. Don't act like it didn't happen. The other thing is, don't beat yourself up about it. Laugh if you can. Life's too short, so why would you spend it feeling guilty? In fact, ask what it taught you and then get back to it. Just do what they do in museums. Collect all the data, study the failure, and then move on. I'm just wondering, what would happen if we stopped pretending and actually shared our struggles more often? Instead of waiting until everything was polished, what if we posted a fail with the same energy on social media as we do with the success? What if we said, hey, I got destroyed in sparring today, but I showed up and I'll be back tomorrow? Imagine what it would do for our whole team culture, just for our own mindset. What about the new students? We have so many new students who have come in, and I say this all the time, that the end product looks really cool. To go and look at somebody who can show after years of training that this is attainable. Like, people don't start doing anything and having it easy. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to start posting some stuff on social media, and we're going to use a hashtag. And in fact, I'd like you to use a hashtag. We're going to use hashtag Okami Kai fail forward. So start looking on Facebook, on Instagram, hashtag Okami Kai fail forward. Okami Kai fail, F-A-I-L forward. I think we should start normalizing this. And quite truthfully, when I came out with this podcast, it was more along the lines of creating episodes. And yeah, I do script some of it to some extent, just so I can sort of stay on focus and stay on task. I didn't originally at the beginning, so if you listen to the first few episodes, you might, where is he going? But every once in a while, I do come off on a tangent, and this is definitely one of those tangents. So yeah, we're going to try to do this. We're going to do a hashtag Okami Kai fail forward, and I want to know what your failures are. Not only do I want to know, but I want to have other people know. And so if you can help me get the word out, that would be great. If this episode hit home for you, obviously that's good. You're in the right place. Because we don't expect perfection, we expect effort. We expect courage, we expect you to show up again and again. Every stumble is part of the story. Every awkward moment is a future breakthrough. Every failure is a gift in disguise. So the next time something goes a little sideways, remember you're not behind. You're building brick by brick. And yes, sometimes those bricks are a little crooked, and that's okay. But in the meantime, let's keep this going. Let's laugh about our stumbles, learn from them, and keep moving forward. In fact, hashtag Okami Kai fail forward. We're not perfect, we're persistent, we're stronger together, and we're failing forward. This has been a Gamsel Broadcasting production. If your biggest failure isn't documented in a museum in Sweden, I think you're doing just fine. It's not like you created Colgate lasagna.